Kick Him in the Head is a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews with some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and gaining insights into what makes a successful fighter in the toughest sport on earth.
Kick him in the head!
Way, hey,
Shaheed,
yeah.
Shaheed. How's it going, my brother?
It's always good, man. It's always good to be in the HQ of Kick Him in the Head.
Talking about the one thing we love, MMA, and today we have a jam-packed show. UFC Fight Night, Luque versus... You see, it wasn't even that important. It was RDA.
I blocked it out of my mind. That loss for RDA was actually really sore. It traumatized me a tiny bit, so I blocked it out. And I'm a huge RDA fan. When he was talking smack with Connor, when he was talking smack with Tony, I was there. When he had the mustache, everything was cool.
Still does.
Yeah, man, it was an era, and now I feel like it's just time. It's time to just let it down, go do something else for a little bit, be in movies like everybody does. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's time. But yeah, that was the most interesting thing about the fight night, unfortunately. But before that, we had EFC 106 last week, Thursday.
Wow.
Last week, Thursday, EFC 106. My goodness.
EFC 106. That was... I don't know if it was the Drickus energy, the Team CIT situation,
Always.
that Team BIA just being BIA, you know
Always.
what I'm saying? People getting thrown out, people getting picked up and tossed inside the cage. It was electric. That main fight card, the prelims, it was all insane. Let's start off with the first fight of the main card. Rudolph versus God Knows. Wow.
The General.
All I can say is the General was in a bit of trouble.
Yep.
He was in a bit of trouble with Rudolph. Rudolph had the position. He had, I believe, good power in certain situations. But God Knows really drove it home why he is a fan favorite and a veteran of the UFC.
To be honest with you, I was surprised because I didn't know he had that level of skill. And he showed a lot of skill, not only on the feet, but also to go to ground and pound Rudolph to a submission. I mean, I'm sorry, actually it was referee stoppage.
Yeah.
I mean, brilliant TKO.
It was brilliant. And I just think, I think that if, like you said in the beginning, Rudolph's gym doesn't have certain aspects of their game figured out yet fully. And maybe as he comes up in the game, it will get better and better. But there is that difference between experience versus this young gun energy. And that's what I think we saw win out. And then we come to the Nightmare and the Tiger.
Honestly, it went the way that I guess it could have gone. On the feet, Rob was giving Bradley a tough time.
Yes.
He was pretty much winning the fight. But as soon as it went to ground, Bradley showed his jiu-jitsu. He showed his ground game. Unfortunately for Rob, it was superior, and it was a good fight.
I think if it stayed on the feet and Rob didn't go in so hard blaring, if he had kept him on the feet, because Rob is at least 5 to 4 kgs heavier than Bradley. He is bigger, he's got more power, and that's what he displayed in the first 5 seconds of the fight.
Although when we went to the weigh-ins, it was a devastating weight cut for Rob.
It really was.
Maybe that took away a little bit of the power.
That's a good point. And I think maybe that made him want to finish the fight as quickly as possible. And with Bradley, if you're going to go to ground, no matter if you are a bigger guy, Bradley will finish. And that's exactly what he did in spectacular guillotine fashion.
Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Raising his arms at the end for the intro, for the women's fight. We don't see women's fights very often in the UFC, unfortunately. But this fight was very interesting. It was very nice. Mishka Van Veek versus...
It was Misha
Dana,
Loebscher.
I'm sorry. Dana Van Veek. I'm sorry. Dana Van Veek and Mishka Loebscher.
The Quiet Storm
yes.
versus Loebscher.
Very violent Storm, I must say. Her
Yeah,
skill
she
level was phenomenal. She was completely in charge of the entire fight. Unanimous decision, no doubt there. But the one thing that was quite interesting was that the power, and of course she's a much smaller fighter, but the power didn't seem to translate because she was catching Lobsher clean on almost each strike.
And I think that that's probably the advantage that Lobsher had coming into the fight, is that she had the point to be the aggressor. And unfortunately, even though Dana came in a little bit smaller, she took it and she didn't give an inch. And even though her power wasn't that of a finishing level, which I'm sure she'll clean up as she goes into her next fights, but the way she handled herself and the way she was composed the whole fight, I think shows real veteran experience. And that Quiet Storm thing, man.
4-0.
It's brilliant. That Quiet Storm is really a time of contemplation and thinking. And I think that's what it means for her. And it was brilliant, the way she displayed and the way she did her thing. But to Misha Lobsher,
yeah, she took those shots, let's be honest.
She
took shots.
It takes two to tango.
That's a chin.
Yeah, it takes two to tango. And she was there for the fight.
She was.
And she didn't give an inch either.
Yeah.
So
it was fight of the night.
It was fight of the night, well deservedly so. And I think if we have more women's fights, maybe we'll see more performances like that. Because sometimes the guys get to the ground and it gets a bit boring.
And like the Superman matchmaker Graham Carmel said, every time the women fight, it's always fight of the night. And this time around, it also happened. And the next fight was Billy the Kid Oosthuizen versus Emmanuel Sita. Honestly, I didn't see it going that way because for me, on the feet, Sita for me was the favorite. But Billy took him out on the feet.
Yeah, Sita and he was looking good.
He was looking good.
He was looking good at the weigh-ins. Your boy was looking strapped, everything, but
even gave a young shoulder rub to Billy the Kid.
Yeah, man. In those face-off situations, it can get a bit like weird. You know what I mean? Just like that. You know what I mean? But Billy the Kid, I think, pulled off a robbery. Your boy came in. He's like, I'm gonna show people what I can actually do, and he is a heavy-handed boxer. He showed composure, and he wasn't overwhelmed by the power and strength of Sita. And I think that's what brought him the win. And like Billy the Kid, he just brought it home. A robbery, man.
With a knee to the head.
Exactly.
Well done.
Almost a kick. Hey!
And now a title fight. The title fight.
Wow.
Thank you for being a title fight worthy.
Wow. South African MMA,
yes.
Stand the hell up. Wow. Two titans. Something, one completely viral, fighting it brave. The other one coming out as a dark horse.
Hasn't fought in almost 10 years.
Exactly. And it showed. It definitely showed. But there's something in the water there, Team CIT. There's something in the water, and I think it's Morne Visser and Drickus and Cameron. They're in the water there. They're inspiring the guys. And what is happening there, I think all of that energy is translating into these fighters, making it a can't-lose situation.
And with all the vacant titles sitting around, there's lots of gold for them to go and collect. Lots of other divisions that are actually looking at title fights. I mean, the heavyweight division, Triple H hasn't fought in a while.
Yep.
It's about time he defends. He wasn't injured in that fight. It was a clear win. So, it's very interesting to see how they're going to move, like which fights they're going to start taking up. But they're very ambitious. We've got Morne calling out.
Morne calling out Eugene, man. Yo!
And that's big. That's very, very interesting.
So, I mean, like, your boy is trying to cultivate all the African championships from the EFC. And he's telling this man... So, basically, Eugene went on some Australian podcast, a very cool podcast. I'm not sure of the name at the moment. I think it's Submission Radio. Check it out, guys, if you need to. Check it out to see what Eugene was saying. Eugene basically said that Drickus lost out on his opportunity lost out on an opportunity to fight Israel, basically wimping out, and he's scared and using these derogatory terms, which I think is inflammatory to the whole situation. But that's MMA. And unlike most South Africans, I'm very, very proud of Morne Visser for giving an answer, because we come from a country that teaches us to be gentlemen, teaches us to take the high road, teaches us to not say anything, but he gave it back. And he said both of our fighters fought on which was it, 272?
Yes.
UFC 272. We both got wins. It was all great. And now you coming at me and telling me that my fighter isn't the number one contender.
Doesn't make sense.
Is the number one contender. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Strickland situation, but I see Israel beating Strickland convincingly, like a walkover fight. And then coming to Drickus, who's the number one contender. I have no idea what Eugene's talking about. I'd love a reply. I would love a reply to what Mornay said now. And just like, what's going on here, guys? We're starting fights that shouldn't be started. It's not coach and saying this guy is so awesome. It's these fighters, and they fight, and you coach them.
Let them fight, that's it.
Exactly. But Mornay is doing awesome things in the South African scene, collecting these titles and putting up in their gym. And I think, guys, it's going to be something to watch.
It'll be quite interesting to see one of their fighters going across to Brave, because just recently we had Brave 73 out in Colombia, Bogota. They went from the UAE out to Bogota, and apparently it was an amazing fight night. But the title fight was for the vacant bantamweight title between Ndebele, Nkosi, and Torres.
Purple haired Torres, man.
Looked like Mike Perry. I saw the video. I thought it was Mike Perry. I was like, when did Mike Perry come back?
Hey, Mike Perry's in bantamweight. Gee whiz, Mike Perry can fight in any weight.
I mean, it's Mike Perry.
Yes, man, the only person that can legitimately be a white person and say the N-word.
Apparently he's 2% African.
Hey, man, I don't know. I don't know about these things. I just report on them. But the big thing is there, man. I think it was a very close fight. I mean, you've been following Brave for a while. You told me to tune in. I tuned in at the best possible time when a South African is in the main event fighting for the bantamweight title. Nkosi was, I think, showing why he should be there. At the height of his MMA situation right now, actually becoming a superstar overseas. And it's beautiful to see. And I would love for him to get the rematch and just solidify against Torres why he is where he is. I felt like he did win, and a lot of people said he did, but it's hard being a foreigner. It's hard coming in fighting as a foreigner. That's still America. So
you still need to finish the fight.
Exactly.
Don't let it go to the judges, as they say.
It is one of those things, and people say it all the time. It's like our old friend Chris Matukani was saying. He took it to the judges, he lost, he comes to UFC 106 and he wins. Judges scorecard. So it's a really hard situation, and it depends on your promotion. It depends on the promotion, depends how they handle it, depends on popularity, and I think the best way is not to leave it to the judges and to finish. But we've been having some heat here lately, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think EFC 107 is coming up, and that is some heat on the local scene.
Wow.
Gift the Daywalker versus Terence the Black Panther Balelo.
Jeez, man, that is going to be I think you said it. It's going to be skilled violence. These two are very hardcore strikers, man. And I think we could see the hopefully a change in logo, maybe with a little head kick for a championship win, maybe.
Yes, please.
To have some South Africans on the logo for a head kick would be beautiful.
I'm willing to change. I'm ready to change. Let's get it.
Let's put it out there to them. Terence, Gift, guys, put in a head kick, you'll become the logo, man. I mean, it's a challenge, guys. We put it out there to the fighters.
And we recently saw the current bantamweight champion in Nkazimulo Zulu,
King SHAKA.
King SHAKA, tuning in and saying, hey guys, listen, you were ducking me, Terence. What's up? And Gift is like, hey, listen, old man. let us get to our thing and please stay out of it.
Yeah, man. But you know what? This is the Team CIT coming through. Team CIT wanting to be dominant. I see Eugene wants to fight. I mean, Morne wants to fight with Eugene. King SHAKA wants to fight with Gift and Terence.
Who aren't even in his current weight class.
Exactly.
Okay.
boy wants to come jump down, get a double title, and basically destroy a division.
And then
Step
become
on it.
Drickus and where? Go to the UFC.
Exactly. And that is the mindset of the Team CIT people. That's what we're talking about, that energy that they're giving. And unfortunately, it's not a likable energy. And that is the energy that needs to be cultivated to get where you need to get in MMA. Look at the prize winner, ConorMcGregor. Still talking shiitakes, man. Still
All the
going
mushrooms.
on. Still going on. Your boy is going on finished. But that is the energy that you need to come with and you need to bring to be dominant in the sport. You don't need to be liked. People need to watch you for whatever reason they want to watch you, but they gotta want to watch you.
That's right.
And that's what the heat that's coming out here is the beautifulness of MMA and hopefully the cultivation of the new era of African MMA.
UFC 292. There aren't really many African fighters on the card, but that's one that's really heating up. Like, I'm really looking forward to this card.
Man, but you Jamaican me crazy because Aljo is on there and he's representing, man.
Funk master. Did you see he's got his rum out now? He's trying to emulate Conor.
Wow.
We love Conor in this show, clearly. So he's gone and said, I'm gonna make my own alcohol as well. And now he's got his own rum.
Wow. But on the other side, Sean O'Malley, I'm sure he's got his own brand of marijuana coming out soon, which is always fun.
So you saw the video of him training.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
making the spliff.
The bong.
Oh, with the
And
bong,
he
I haven't
kicked the
seen
bong.
it. Oh, yes.
Loved it. Sean O'Malley, thank you so much for making this an entertaining title fight.
Yes.
On the card as well, we've got Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos for the
Wow.
women's strawweight title.
Chiwe Zhang, I have so much respect for that lady being, I think, the first Chinese champion in UFC history. I think it's a big thing for her to come take the title back and now defend it. Amanda Lemos is quite a big challenger for her, and it'll be interesting to see where the fight goes. But Zhang is strong in the ground and on the feet, so it'll be an interesting fight.
The other fight on the main card, Neil Magny versus Ian Machado Gary. This fight I'm looking forward to, but I'll tell you why later.
Ian Gary is basically the Wish version of Conor McGregor. He truly is the Wish version of Conor McGregor. I think he was supposed to fight... There's a fight that got cancelled. He was supposed to fight somebody else. But Neil McGinney is the ultimate step-in master. I don't know how many fights. He just comes up, man. There isn't a time... Neil is one of those fighters that is ever ready. And he's very underrated as a fighter. And Ian being where he is, Neil being where he is, this is a life or death fight for both of them. Ian is the hype master right now. Neil needs to get up and become something or become nothing, unfortunately. And that is the way MMA is. And in the welterweight division, it is heat.
Chito Vera. Pedro Munoz. Chito Vera, Frankie Edgar was this close from being the logo.
Yes.
He kicked him in the head. This close. But unfortunately, this one won out. But Chito's fighting, and he lost on decision in his last fight, which a lot of people say he probably shouldn't have lost. He actually might have won the fight. So it's very interesting to see him now fighting in number 10, so going down.
What do you think of Cheeto's chances against the new Sean O'Malley?
You see, the new Sean O'Malley, you say the new Sean O'Malley, for me is the same as the old Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
Just older. So I would go Cheeto.
You go Cheeto again.
Yes.
I say new Sean O'Malley because of the way he's talking about this fight. The way he's talking about this title fight is with respect and composure for his opponent. Something that I don't think he's ever shown before. He actually called AJ the Bantam Goat. I don't know if that's a way of bolstering himself if he wins or loses. Because if he loses, he can say, that's the Bantam Goat. I lost to the Goat. If he wins, he can say, I beat the Bantam Goat, so now I'm the Goat. So
Hedging the narrative on the future, say, look, I'm covered either way.
Exactly. So I think with that sort of maturity, Cheeto fought against an arrogant guy trying to bolster himself and come up. I mean, he didn't even acknowledge the win for a couple of weeks. He said, no, I'm still undefeated. And that's delusional. And the person that he is now seems more composed, seems ready for a title fight, and I think would have a better chance against this cheater.
It'll be an interesting fight. The other interesting fight on this card is the former middleweight champion Chris Weidman versus Brad Tavares.
Yo,
I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Like, Chris hasn't fought with the leg break, the devastating leg break.
Hey, yo.
Brad is coming off a loss to Drickus. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun fight.
I'm gonna reveal how superstitious I am now, guys. I think Chris Weidman should retire after a leg break like that. It doesn't matter in MMA. Once you've done something like that to yourself, you become a different person. Whether the different person is able to fight or not, I think we've seen it in the legend himself, the Spider, Anderson Silva.
Who broke his leg against Weidman.
Yeah, he was never the same after that. Really never the same. And I mean, we're seeing him box. It's all cool. It's a different landscape of fighting. And now Chris is so determined to prove that it doesn't affect him that I don't think he's taking the relevant time to deal with it. And being at the certain age he is, he should see the realities around what has happened to him. Travis lost against Drickus, and it wasn't a bad fight. He's a young new guy that's eager to prove himself against that lost against the number one contender. So I don't like the chances for Chris in this fight.
Conor's back on the scene. As always, we have to talk about Conor.
Hey.
Conor, you know what? We're fans. We love you. As much as we might not love you, we love you because you're always on our tongue. So
stop by and give us some proper 12. I might not drink
I want
it.
The stout.
But yeah, I will. Don't worry, Conor.
Bring it all.
Bring it all.
This weekend, Anthony Joshua won a fight. Conor was at the fight, and as Anthony was walking out, he gave him a nice big sip of his new stout.
I love how
bloody sip.
I love how you say things and you make it sound so nice. What I saw was Conor, like this deranged little Irish man, running up to this huge dude after he's been in a fight and bludgeoning this drink down his throat. Take a sip, take it, go. Good, go. It was like, AJ didn't know what the hell was going on. He didn't even know who Conor was. Well, I have no idea that this is just my opinions of what I saw happen. But the best thing about it is Conor confirmed fights. Finally.
And we've been waiting.
So he's confirmed he's fighting Chandler after the tough.
Yeah, as part of tough, you got to fight afterwards. That's right.
So he's confirmed he's going to do that in December. And then after that win, he's going to go fight the BMF Justin Gaethje. And after that win, he's going to go take over the trilogy with Nate Diaz, which is a wet blanket.
In Bare Knuckle, though.
In Bare Knuckle.
Very specifically.
Wow. And get Conor off the proper 12 because he called out KSI as well. The little snit that's... and he said he was going to fight him in Bare Knuckle. So, I mean, it seems to be a trend.
Oh, I got the wrong fight. Sorry, Diaz is in MMA. KSI is Bare Knuckle.
Ah, it's
That's
KSI.
right. It's KSI and Bare Knuckle. You're quite right.
We
Diaz is
should
MMA.
quote that. Conor McGregor calls out KSI and Bare Knuckle. Insane. Insane. But speaking of Bare Knuckle, there are some rumors about some bad blood in the South African scene. Coach Conrad of BIA and Dino Bagatine,
Former middleweight champion.
apparently had a bit of a situation at EFC 05 and
105.
at EFC 105, and Dino has been subsequently banned from the EFC venue.
Is that why he's no longer around?
Yes, roaming around there. And
Roaming. The lion, right?
the lion just roaming the pride, you know what I'm saying? And now they've had a situation, and Conrad would like to clear up the situation by having a bare knuckle fight against Dino. I think that is a horrible idea for Conrad, but a wonderful idea for combat sports in South Africa.
And the prize is, Dino, if you win, you're back in the EFC.
Yes!
Conrad, if you win, what does he get?
Pride.
Happy. Well, I'd be happy with that.
Pride. I mean, to think about it, if Conrad knocks Dino out in bare knuckle, people will say nothing. People will say nothing.
But then he's the greatest. He's one of the greatest, one of the GOATs. It gives him that acclaim, that legend status.
Yes, and to be the first bare knuckle fight in South Africa, that would be historical, even if it is a total bloodbath. But we love it. We love it. And going into our questions, let's do a fighter of the week, and then let's talk about some bare knuckle.
Fighter of the week. My fighter of the week is Ian Machado Gary.
Wow. Why?
So, I've been watching him, I think, since his first or second fight in the UFC, and I like his fighting style. I like his on-stage charisma, presence. Yes, he's trying to somewhat emulate Conor, but be that as it may. But very specifically because he's fighting Neil Magny.
Yeah.
This morning, I ran into some content. Basically, it's an interview with Neil Magny, basically saying that he gives his son a good whooping because that's how you raise kids. And Ian grabs his little son and says, hey, look, I'll never give you an ass whipping. I'll teach you. So for me, I'm full on Ian because I'm a father of 3. And for me, I agree fully with Ian. You do not have to whoop your child in order to teach them. So for me, this week, Ian Machado Gary, let's get it.
Maybe I'm a Neil McGinney because I'll whoop my kids. I'll whoop my kids, man. Especially if you did something wrong. If you're stealing, I'm going to bend you over my knee, boy.
That's it. But okay.
My fighter of the week has to go to the EFC women's fighters, particularly Misha Lopesha, because we spoke about how Van Veek dominated in the fight. But in order to have a real fight of the night, you need a strong, good opponent that's going to last, that's going to give the crowd what they want. And Misha Lopesha, you certainly did that for us at 106. You stood in there, you were a warrior, you took the shots, and you did not give an inch. And that is what we love to see in MMA. So, oh, Misha, man.
You know what? You're almost cheering me up.
It's beautiful, and that's exactly how I felt about it. And I just want to say thank you to her, because to be there live and to witness something like that for these young fighters, it was completely and utterly awesome. Yeah.
And with that, let's get back to bare knuckle.
Wow.
I wonder who would be the first women's bare knuckle fight in SA.
Wow. I think there is a fighter called Shannon Power or Shannon something. She was training at Fight Fit. Fight Fit's got a very weird history in the MMA, EFC, South African fight ground, but I think she'd be a good contender for the first bare knuckle. And I don't know who would be her opponent. Who do you think?
I'm trying to think of a celebrity right now.
I'm trying to think of a celebrity.
In this country, that's the only way to get anything up and running. I mean, we had Casper with his own boxing promotion. Suddenly, boxing was kind of back in the limelight. People were trying to rush to Sun City to watch boxing. So, maybe Kanye Mbao.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure she'd be up for a fight.
Gee
Or
whiz.
Dineo Rangaka. She's got a lot of anger.
Wow.
I'm not sure about the skill, but okay.
Exactly, man. That's the whole thing. Is that, well, boxing is definitely not MMA, and bare knuckle is neither one. So it's
New to everybody.
It's a very interesting situation. And now I think that brings us to our general topic of, does it have a place here in South Africa? Do you think enough people would throw down bare knuckle in our country?
It takes less equipment.
That's true. Takes less equipment.
Less training. That's where Jorge Masvidal came from. I'm just saying.
Jorge came from the streets.
That's what I'm saying. That's the place for bare knuckle. So maybe it would be taking combat back to the people. I mean, if you look at most of the combat sports around the world, most of them you do not have, except for boxing, you do not necessarily wear anything in your hands. Technically, they are bare knuckle, whether it be karate, etc. Whether or not you strike is a different question, but like I've said before, for me, bare knuckle is slightly safer because, a couple of shots, the fight's over. Versus boxing, concussion, you know what I mean? So I'm all for bare knuckle. And I think it could possibly have a home
in South Africa.
Hopefully from the townships, which is therefore going to the root of where the country is. I don't know.
I agree, and I just hope. I think bare knuckle has a place if it compensates its fighters appropriately. Fighter compensation is the biggest thing. Boxing is king because people get paid. MMA is an underground sport because fighters don't get the cash that they should be getting. I mean, Israel is a multi-millionaire only now because he has been in 11 or something title fights or something like that. And that's ridiculous. He should have been getting paid from the beginning of his title career. And that's what it is. And I don't think that in MMA people are getting compensated appropriately. The point is that if bare knuckle pays, people will fight.
This is true. This is true. And then people will accept.
Exactly. So if there's money, there's a place. If it's just street fighting, let's get drunk and start Fight Club, because then that's all it is.
Although the one thing that we know that people don't stand for and that we don't stand for, kicking in the head, is hunger.
Yes, fighting the hunger, kicking hunger in the head. It's funny that you talk about that now. We are actually preparing for our second, number 2, second food giveaway drive. We just gonna bake some curry, make some curry.
I'll bake the cakes.
You'll bake the cakes.
I'll bake the cakes.
Yaw is an awesome baker. Celebrity Bake Off Challenge. Yaw can do it.
I'm there.
We are here, kick him in the head. Yaw can do it. Yay! So basically, we're just making some curry. We're gonna see how much we get out of. I think the 600 rand we spent on a 5 kg chicken. We're gonna make some chicken curry, make some rice, and see how many packages we can hand out to some hungry people.
Amazing. And I absolutely love that, and hopefully I'll be there as well. But definitely, this is something that's very important. And as we know, we here are doing our best to make sure that we can try and fight hunger in various ways.
Indeed. And fight poverty, fight the mindset of people thinking that there's no way out and there's no hope. There is always hope if you choose to believe in it.
And you choose to fight for it.
Yes.
And that's our show for today. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the Kick Him in the Head podcast on all our platforms.
All those things, guys.
All those nice things.
Please.
Out.